What is going on, everyone? We are back with another Goosebumps review. So we've got two more stories after this. And before we get any further, if you want everything a week earlier, which means by now you could be watching something else other than Goosebumps, be sure to jump into the comments below, or not comments, the description below. Go to the Patreon. You get a week early access to everything. Now, with that being said, so we just watched what is probably my favorite, or at least top 3 to 5 episode of Goosebumps, story of Goosebumps all time. This was Say Cheese and Die, and for some reason, I actually get a lot of my favorite stories, movies, things like that games revolve around cameras and taking pictures of things. My favorite horror game of all time is Fatal Frame, the original Fatal Frame. There is so much aside from that I just love. Fatal Frame. There's a horror movie called Shudder that I think is really good. There's another movie. Actually, there's two versions of Shudder. There's the Japanese version and the American version. I love them both. But yeah, so I've always found the stories revolving around cameras being used as evil or to fight evil very fascinating, because it's steeped in Japanese lore. But anyways, so this was episode 15, Say Cheese and Die. This was directed by Ron Oliver, written by Bruce Edwards, and is based off of the 4th book in the Goosebumps series, Say Cheese and Die. And this was released on television February 9th, 1996. Alright. It's fascinating that they have I'm sorry. So this is weird. This is considered a part of season 1, which it should be. And then it looks like the next episode for season 1 was released February 25th. And then the next one was May 17th, 1996. But then May 11th starts season 2, which came out before the Werewolf of Fever. That's weird. I'm not a fan of how they have that. Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, so basically the story of Say Cheese and Die revolves around a kid and a group of friends goes to this creepy warehouse that they're apparently planning to tear down, and they make fun of this real creepy guy that seems to be in and out of it that they have nicknamed Spidey because he has really long legs, which they compare to a spider. They break into the warehouse and pretty quickly find this weird looking camera. They use the camera to take a picture of one of the kids. Just after they take a picture of him, he falls into some boxes. Spidey comes down. They juke and jive past him. They get up the stairs. They get out and run away. And he tells them, he's like, hey, I took this picture before you fell in the boxes. And the guy's like, no way, no way. And he's like, no, I really did. And he's like, no. So then he takes a picture of his dad's car, which has a smashed-in front end. They go out on a trip later that night as a family, and the kid helps completely avoid the car wreck that almost inevitably happened. He then goes over to his friend's house to take a picture of her, or not to take a picture of her. They were actually running from some bullies. They ended up at their friend's house. She asks for him to take a picture of her. He reluctantly does because he doesn't want to, because he already knows what's going on with this camera. And when he takes, I'm going to sneeze. So he takes a picture of her, and she's not in the picture, which is really weird. Well, his brother shows him and says, hey, just to let you know, Dad got in a car accident. They go visit Dad. Dad's in the hospital. He's got his leg up in a cast. Otherwise, he's fine. Car's totaled, though, which is what it looked like in the picture. Um, so then he goes and later that night gets a visit from some police officers because his friend is missing, which is why she wasn't showing up in the picture. He tells the cops that he saw her earlier that day. They are super speculative that, it's because of him, or he at least knows something about it, which he does, but, it's not anything adults were ever going to believe. The actual, male cop that is in that grouping is, one of the worst actors of all time. I'm pretty sure he was only 17. But, so they sit there and, next day him and his other friend are hanging out, and he's decided he's going to take the camera back to the original place, but before he does, he rips up all the pictures that he's taken with the camera because he was pissed off. And even tried to throw the camera to break it, doesn't have a scratch on it or anything. His friend bails on him because he's like, yo, I'm not doing this. I got things to do, which he doesn't. He's just too afraid to go to the stupid warehouse. So, the main character shows up there, and as he shows up, the female friend of his shows back up, and she's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know where I went, and then all of a sudden I was just back again. And he was like, well, when did you come back? And she's like, I guess a couple hours ago. He's like, that's just right around the time I tore up the pictures. So they go to put the camera in the basement. Spidey shows up, basically says that he created the camera because he was going to tell the future. He was trying to create something that was going to help tell the future, but it was obvious that the only futures that it made and forced were bad futures, so he decided to hide it forever, and he's never going to be able to let the kids go because they know too much. So during a mad scramble, the chick takes a picture of him, causes him to completely disappear, and they leave. The twist ending, which is a fun twist ending, at the end, this kid shows up, or the bullies that show up that who were chasing the kids earlier, and they take a picture of, he takes a picture of one of the kids, one of them takes a picture of the other one, and then since they took a picture with the camera, it released Spidey, and he shows up behind him, and he's about to kidnap them, or whatever they imply. And that was the end of it. So fun little twist ending that has some shock. I swear, dude, guys, I am watching this along with The Twilight Zone. And The Twilight Zone pales in comparison as far as storytelling. I'm sorry. Even though this is directly meant for kids, this is still so much better. The implications at the end of this are just so fast. Just so much fun. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for that. Again, this is one of my favorite stories, and it was super fun to, again, as an adult now, see Ryan Gosling as a teenager. I'm pretty sure Ryan Gosling's probably within about 5-6 years of my age. Hold on. How old is Ryan Gosling? Yeah, he's 43. I'm 38. So yeah, about 5 years older than I am. That about checks out because I was, watching this 11 years old when this came out. Oh, well, 10 years old because it wasn't quite December yet. This was still February. So, yeah. I was saying he looks about 15, 16 years old in it. So, that checks out. But yeah, super fun episode. One of my favorites. And something else that's super cool is the next episode is another 2-parter, so it's going to be a longer one because we're covering both parts in one video. And that's another one of my favorites, and it's called A Night in Terror Tower. So, however, tomorrow is going to be another Twilight Zone. I don't remember which one is next, but be on the lookout for that. And that's going to do it, guys. Absolutely love this video. Love this one. Ryan Gosling did a fantastic job. Most of the other people kind of sucked at acting-wise, but, still a fun story. With that being said, love you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.